I'm Matt. You know, way back in the day when I tried to record and write songs, I did all of my recording on, well, I should say all my sequencing on a Korg Triton. And then I did all the recording on a Korg DS8, I believe, hard drive, D8, I'm sorry, a D8 hard drive recorder. And so everything was standalone and didn't use a computer for anything at that time. So I would record all the sequencing on the Triton and then play the audio out of the Triton into the D8 and then record vocals on the D8 over top of the audio. So I was definitely aware back at that time of computer recording and people using software to record, but that was so far out of my reach in terms of the price it would take to get in there. But I remember that I had a friend who was a huge Mac guy, and he was the first one that made me aware of Pro Tools back in the day, which I think, to my consciousness back then, it was the biggest, most professional software product out there. I want to say Howard Shore, maybe for Lord of the Rings. I don't remember, but I remember a big name and a big movie and, you know, being like, oh, he used Pro Tools for all this. And, you know, thinking back then, what a dream it would be to have Pro Tools someday. So as life does for many of us in the hobbyist recording community, you know, life moved on. I ended up selling all my stuff. No real time for writing and recording, you know, young family, so on and so forth. So in 2019, I got interested in recording again. The buddy of mine who really was instrumental in getting me back into recording and writing was using Pro Tools. And so, you know, obviously when I heard Pro Tools after this 10-year layoff, however long it was, from writing and recording, I thought, man, you know, if Pro Tools is available to the common folk now, that's crazy and awesome, and that's totally what I need to use. So he introduced me to Pro Tools. I think I started with Pro Tools first, the free version, and then upgraded to, I think it was the subscription plan at the time, which, you know, again, would have been back in late 2019, early 2020. And, you know, long and short of it is I've used Pro Tools ever since then. I've dabbled, a lot of times I'll dabble in GarageBand when I'm working on just a quick way to get this idea down, because Pro Tools is, I mean, honestly, can be kind of cumbersome to set up. It takes my computer a while to open a Pro Tools session, but that has been my main software for recording, and I've done really all of my albums on it. You know, as I watch other synth players on YouTube, other folks that record and write and make these fantastic soundtracks that I hear out there, I'm always amazed or puzzled by the fact that Pro Tools just doesn't seem to feature prominently in anybody's studio anymore. At least, again, the folks I'm seeing on YouTube. I mean, I see a whole lot of Logic, Ableton, I'm going to say these names wrong because I don't know all of them. I mean, there's Ableton, there's some Reason, there's FL Studio. I mean, when I stumble across someone who's using Pro Tools, I'm like, wow, there's somebody actually using it. Instead of, you know, based on what I used to know back in the day, I would think everybody wants Pro Tools. Now, I do know that there have been a lot of issues with tech support and just a lot of issues overall with Pro Tools, and I'm not sure if that's any different than anybody else has experienced with their DAWs. It may be the same. Maybe Avid has just wrecked the entire platform. But, you know, the whole point of this video is I'd really like to know what is wrong with Pro Tools. For me, it's getting me by. It's complicated, but I don't know that it's any more complicated than any other process. So I'm just kind of throwing this out there as a question to other folks in the community. Why do you not use Pro Tools? Have you used it in the past and decided to switch to something else? I had a brief period of time where I thought I would switch over to Logic just because I'm using a Mac, and I thought, well, you know, for the best user experience, I think Logic's probably the way to go. But it didn't stick. I did the demo and just left it at that. So with my Pro Tools right now, I bought the standalone version, and I can pay for the optional upgrades. You know, I can do the $100 annual upgrades, or I can just leave it alone. So I do like the fact that I bought it and I'm done if I want to be. But I know that this is probably not the only platform that works that way. So I know I'm doing a lot of rambling here, but the point of this video is, if you've used Pro Tools in the past and have had a bad experience or no longer use it for some particular reason, why is that? I'm just curious. If you've looked at Pro Tools and decided to go another route with your DAW, I'd also like to know why that is. I don't know that, again, the Pro Tools is, maybe it's just too complicated. You know, I found out with my buddy helping me get into Pro Tools, if he hadn't been around, I probably would have just gone back to GarageBand and stuck there, which would have been a bad decision. But the point is, Pro Tools takes some work just to be able to record a track. I mean, it's not an easy system to use. So again, that's just my opinion and my experience. But I'd like to know if you've used Pro Tools in the past and left it, or if you've previewed it or been exposed to it and decided, yeah, I'm not going that route. I'd love to know why. Again, I just don't see many people using Pro Tools on YouTube. Don't know why that is. I'd love to know why that is. So anyway, appreciate you stopping by for this little ramble. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I would love to have you as a subscriber, a part of this community here, and we will plan to see you in the next video. Thanks.